everyone, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. So I had this idea for this topic. I've talked about a lot of this before, but I'm putting it together in a different form. I thought about this even before my video on the milks came out. And somebody came in there and got all high and mighty about, how we shouldn't be drinking cow milk because, we're not made to drink cow milk. And yet people in the Bible drank the milk of kine. They used it to make cheese and butter. And if you don't know what kine is, Kine, that's cows, cattle, bovine. I get a little burned out on the constant. It does not matter what kind of food you're talking about, what kind of anything you're talking about. There's always going to be somebody who thinks they know everything and they want to come in and act like they're smarter and better than you and tell you what you should and shouldn't do. Or the lady that was like on my old lavender leaf video, back then I was growing I had Spanish lavender, didn't like the taste of leaves. And so I ended up ripping the Spanish lavender out because I decided, no, I don't like the taste of this one. I won't use it. And she's like, you do know that Spanish lavender and French lavender aren't edible, right? When people add that little right to the end, they know what they're doing. It's that little bit of dig right there because they're so much smarter than you. Well, unfortunately for this person, they were way off base. It is absolutely edible, all three of them. You know why people don't eat Spanish lavender much? Because it doesn't taste good. It has a very different flavor than the leaves of French or English lavender. They all going to have their own, it's just like apples. Apples can all have their different flavors to them. They're still an apple, but some taste better than others. Maybe that's not even the best example. There's other types of fruits that can have very distinct flavors. Doesn't mean that one is not edible and the other one is, just because you like the flavor of one better. Not that it would matter, because people that usually get that kind of attitude won't bother to check out your links. But I went and found a link because I knew all three of them were edible because I've eaten all three of them and I have not died. But I found a link that was specifically talked about all three and their culinary uses and the way all three of them are most commonly used in culinary dishes. Even the Spanish lavender, though it's not used as often because it doesn't taste very good. Now, some people might like the flavor of it. I didn't care for it. But at any rate, my point is that let's go back in time to at least the 70s. Okay, well, in the 70s, I think it was don't eat salt and don't eat egg yolks. Egg yolks, seriously? Egg yolks are the best part of the egg. That's where all the flavor is. And guess what? They're scaring people to death about eating egg yolks because, your cholesterol. No, you need that cholesterol that's in that egg. Guess what else is in that egg yolk? Selenium, vitamin D3, I believe vitamin K. It's high in all these necessary nutrients our body needs. But let's scare you away from that. Just eat the whites what's in the white? There's no flavor. There's no nutrients. Hello? And then I think it was more in the 80s where they were talking about, you shouldn't eat the dark meat on your chicken and the turkey. That's the worst part for you. And I remember how sad I was. I might have been in my teens, but I remember thinking, really? That's the best part. That was always my favorite part of the chicken or the turkey was the dark meat. Why? That's because where all the flavor is. And guess what? Usually where all the flavor is where all the nutrients are that your body needs. So here's a few more I wrote down. Well, just meat in general. Don't ever eat meat. Meat will kill you. You're all supposed to be vegans. Don't you know that? Don't drink dairy, especially from cows, and don't eat meat. Because we're all supposed to be vegans because somebody out there decided that was the best way we should all eat. All of us, no matter who you are. And then butter, the demonizing of butter. That actually goes back further than, I think that was the 50s or 60s. Don't eat butter. As such, as a child who was born in the mid 60s, I grew up on margarine. I liked it because it was what I was used to, but when I got my first taste of real butter, I was over the moon. I'm like, why don't we have this stuff? See, I even as a child, I knew when I tasted that butter for the first time, there's something about this that's special. It's real and it's good. And as soon as I was able and I got out on my own, away went the margarine and it was butter. It was a bit of a sticker shock at first, switching from margarine to butter, but oh my goodness, it was worth it. And so then we find out, what did we find out? That the Crisco and the margarine, that stuff is all fake and it's all really bad for you. Just like the Cool Whip versus real whipped cream. They tried to convince us this was good for us, but the real whipped cream is bad for you because it has so much calories and fat in it. Wrong. I mean, yeah, it has fat and calories in it, but wrong that it's worse for you. The Cool Whip, all the fake stuff, that's the stuff that's been bad for us. So you guys all already know this. I'm preaching to the choir. So what do we have being demonized today? Because, we can't go a decade without something, or even 5-year span without some kind of new food group, well, old food group, but being newly demonized. So today it's the grains and the vegetables and the fruits, anything plant-based. So I get really just so agitated because it doesn't matter what you do. There's always somebody that's trying to preach at you why this and that is bad for you because it's what they have come to believe. So the point of what I'm trying to say is, let's stop allowing they, quote unquote, whoever they are, we know who they are, just make our decisions for us, for how we live, for what we eat, for even how we raise our kids. Because they want to demonize homeschooling. Let's demonize. What else do they like to demonize? Oh, here's one. This is one that's just really been getting me, even though so far it's not affecting us living in a small remote town, but being a small remote town means it very well could. And that's the data centers and all the AI and they again, trying to convince you it's good for you and for your community. It's going to create more jobs. And what are they doing? And why is it suddenly all the climate activists seem to be, not all of them, strangely silent, at least as far as the climate activists, as far as the public voices that want to tell you, don't eat red meat, you're destroying the climate. Don't drive your gas-powered or diesel-powered vehicle, you're destroying the climate. You bad, bad person. Hey, let's put in a data center that causes noise pollution, air pollution, uses up way more water than you can. Yeah, and they're polluting the water too. Thank you. That too. I've seen that. People in these small towns, they're turning on their water. It's nasty. It's disgusting. It's brown or yellow or orange. So really that's what it boils down to. That if we keep listening to they and what they are trying to tell us is good for us or good for our community or good for the climate, chances are they are only in it for the money and they don't care one iota about you or your family or your life. They don't care if you get any water, if you die from eating fake food. They don't care. They care about this. They care about lining their pockets. They care about their profit margin. That is what it all boils down to. And maybe it all sounds like conspiracy theory nonsense, but come on. Have we not seen over and over and over again throughout the generations? Everything was always about money. The Crisco, getting people to eat Crisco instead of butter, it was all about money. Well, they don't need candles anymore now that we got all these electric lights. What can we do with all this stuff? Oh, let's make a healthy fat and convince people it's better for them than butter, and they can start using that for making their pies and biscuits. Everything has a purpose that has nothing to do with your health and your future and caring for your family and getting good clean water and good clean air and not going crazy or ending up in severe depression because you can't get away from the horrible sound of the data centers that never shut up and driving you out of your family homes that you grew up in, and you making nothing off of it. As you can see, I'm a little bit angry over all of it. And it doesn't help that when you're a somewhat public, I say it that way because I've been on YouTube for 10 years, putting myself out there for anyone to come in and say whatever they want. Not that I allow it. It wasn't long, I knew it would happen before people were coming in and criticizing me and telling me I was wrong for this and that. Now, will I admit that there have been things I have been wrong about? Yes. Yes. And when I find out I'm wrong, I correct that. And I make it public, just as the mistake of whatever I said that I thought I was correct on. I was being honest, but I was honestly wrong. And so there's nothing wrong with saying, well, hey, I learned this. This is what I learned. And that makes me go, maybe I should look into that. And in the past week, I've done that 2 or 3 times because of things that people brought up. There was one about the lavender. I looked it up again because I was pretty sure I was right, but I'm like, I don't want to assume I'm right and get all cocky about it like everybody else likes to do. I'm going to double check and I don't just look at one page. The reason I gave her that one link because it covered all 3 lavenders. I look at several. I compare different sites. And okay, because if I'm wrong, I want to correct this. I don't want people eating something that's toxic if I'm telling them to eat lavender leaves, some all kinds of lavender. I don't even know what all species of lavender I have around here because I have so many different ones. I use all of them and I've eaten from all of them and never had once a single bad side effect. And that's just the leaves. I don't like eating the flowers. So I've made tea from the flowers. As long as it's mixed with something else, I don't mind. But it's too perfumey. I'm not the kind of person that likes to grab a bottle of lavender perfume and go, look, look, look. I don't know. Maybe some people do that. I don't know. Well, and then the sad part is these people that are being told this stuff and just buy into it because one person told them this. When somebody corrects them on it, they don't want to be corrected. I mean, I tried to be polite to this lady. I just said, well, that's not correct. You can actually use all 3, and I have. I tried to be polite about it because obviously if you're rude, that's going to make them definitely not try to better themselves and learn something that new or different than what they'd originally been told. We've all been told a lie, and we've all bought into a lie at some point in our lives. No one is immune to that. It happens to us all. But where we better ourselves is we say, let's go back to the whole, let's question everything. Who's behind this? Follow the money. And then let's compare all the information from experience, especially our ancestors. When people want to tell you, you should never dehydrate meat and put it up, that's going to kill you. The only way you can ever do it is to freeze dry or can it. Not that those are bad things. You can do that. But do you really think people were freeze drying meat 2,000 years ago? So sometimes you got to go way back and say, weren't people doing this? Weren't people actually feeding their babies a certain milk from both animals, both the bovines and the goats? I have to be careful about what I say because this can get me in trouble on YouTube. Yes, they were. And the reason it was okay coming from certain bovine back then was because they all produced back then the right kind of milk. That our cattle has, except for the ones that have been preserved, they have been changed to put out a different, the A1 milk. And though a lot of people like me can tolerate it, not everyone can. And that includes itty bitty ones, right? I'm trying to be careful because I got people that, because of my dairy video that came out yesterday, that think I don't know this about like goat milk, for example. But if they had been following me long enough, they would know that I most definitely know that, and even have my own testimony about that with the little grandbaby that was here. They wouldn't know that now if they only followed me on YouTube, because that video got removed from YouTube because it is bad to talk about anything other than human or store-bought formula when it comes to infants. If you suggest anything else, that is bad, and you can get banned. You can get a strike on your channel, at least a warning. You'll get your videos removed. So now those are over on Rumble. And so a lot of people wouldn't know that. They just assume because I didn't talk about that in that video that came out yesterday that I don't already know that. Now, it's okay if people just think I don't know and they're sharing this. I get it. But it was the person that got all high and mighty about it that I finally just said, okay, goodbye. You're done. Delete. The first comment was, it was kind of toeing the line a little bit, just kind of throwing their toe over the line just a little bit, but I could tolerate it. But and then I just explained just very briefly something. And then when they kind of went on the rant about it, I'm like, that's it. No. Kind of got rude about it. I don't need this silliness. You don't need the tood, Heidi. I don't. You're right. Thank you. It really depends on the person's approach. If a person is just genuinely asking a question or sharing what they know, I'm fine with that. Or, sharing what they might think they're right, and they might be. It's when they come in and act like they're smarter than you. I don't have the time or patience for that nonsense. There are plenty enough people smarter than me. I know that. But if you think you're smarter than everybody else, then you're probably a lot dumber than a lot of people, because you just think you've arrived and now you're not growing. That can be said about a lot of things. So anyway, let me just sum all this up again. And I think that's what I'm going to title this, is let's stop letting they make our decisions for us. If you hear something that sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. And if they're trying to demonize what you eat, what you wear, how you live, how you raise your children, if you feel there's something you need to learn more about, take the time to do it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a good idea to learn more. You should always be learning more about everything. Learning new skills, learning better ways to do things, learn what's the healthiest thing for you, especially us women, as our bodies change every 6 months. I swear something's different. We got to change something again in what we eat or whatever. But that's good. Keep learning, keep changing as you need to for your own personal health and the sake of your family. But don't let that be dictated to you by people who have money to make off of you, if you listen to them and do what they say. Or the people that like to parrot all the false information that they heard. Well, so-and-so said this, so it must be that way. Who's so-and-so? I don't know. I don't know who that is. I don't care. Oh, that person that likes to fly around in private jets from one state to another, and they're wanting to tell me I need an electric car? Not gonna happen. Okay. Grr. So anyway, love you all. Thanks for coming in as always. Take care and God bless.